All right, welcome everyone. So firstly, I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today, each dialing in from around Australia, including quite a few guests from our neighbours in New Zealand, and pay my respects to the elders past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. So my name is Dee and I'm the Head of Clinical Services at Drake Workwise, and I'm so pleased to welcome you all to our event From Exhausted to Energised. It's presented today on behalf of Drake Workwise, Drake Wellness Hub and Drake New Zealand. So we welcome you all from employee to business leaders. The focus of today is providing you with the knowledge and tools to support yourself in re-energising. I like to approach my mental health as I do my physical health. So it's all about making those small decisions each day that work together to better my well-being. And I hope that today offers you a few more resources and tools to make those mentally healthy decisions each day. This is just one of many topics that we can roll out to help support you in this ever-changing environment, to say the least. And just a few admin points before we get started. So today we'll run for 30 minutes, followed by 10 minutes Q&A. Any questions that you have can be added to the chat field, which I can see you're all filling up, which is great. Everyone will be muted for today, so it'll just be between Shana, our presenter, and myself. And we'll also respond to as many questions as we can in that 10 minutes. And if we don't get to your question, we'll certainly get back to you afterwards. And we'll also send you through a worksheet following the presentation. So I'll now pass over to our presenter, Shana Kennedy, who has many achievements to her name, including being a Master Life Specialist and Coach and Wellbeing Specialist. Over to you, Shana.
Thank you, and thanks for having me today, everybody. How awesome to see that chat room firing up. So please keep on typing in the chat your comments, questions, anything that you may want to be asking throughout this great little half hour of power that we have together. So I'm Shana Kennedy. I'm an author, a coach, a strategist, and I'm here to present today how to reset ourselves, how to refuel, re-energize, and just take that nice breath that we really all need at the moment. So I'd love to start with, how do you all feel? And you can type it in the chat and let's do a little bit of a check-in on how we feel at the moment. I'm based in Melbourne. I've got 2 teenagers homeschooling. I've got my husband working from home. The house is full. A lot of people I know at the moment feel like they're languishing a little bit or exhausted. So type in the chat how you're feeling at the moment. Some people feel they're on the Corona coaster, or they've got that fatigue going on. It's a real thing, burnout. So checking in with yourself is a really important step to take just to get started. So my burnout story, I worked in my late 20s, 7 days a week. I married my job. I loved my job. It was in my blood. I was in sports marketing. I worked 7 days a week. I had no off button, no self-care strategies, no breathing, no nothing. And I ended up with chronic fatigue, which really took a couple of years out of my life. And it's something that 20 years later, I have to deal with on a daily basis. So chronic fatigue and depression are something that I live with. It is something that I have to work with all the time and keep on top of. But there's tools and tips and strategies that will really help us and support us getting through that. So a lot of people have got that drain and fatigue, and we can see in the chat, and lucky for some people that they're not in lockdown and they realise, it's even hard for them as well. So let's go back to mastering the basics, that you're the asset. So I always think of you, each one of you out there, as a beautiful, unique, individual human being, and you're the asset. And we need to protect you and love you and care for you to be able to show up each day. And I ask you, we always think about putting on the oxygen mask to help other people or to go and do our job, but who is filling up your tank? The oxygen tank needs filling for you to put the mask on. So the tank is what we intentionally do to fill it. And it's really interesting at the moment is we have no tank fillers. They've all been taken away. Going to a class, having some people over just for a drink, seeing someone at the coffee shop, sitting down, having that nice cup of tea with somebody, the water cooler talk at work. They're all things that add to our tank. They give us energy when we're around other people, and we have a collective energy. So really have that moment now of reflection to say, all I do is output. There is only output. I have no input. There's no joy coming into my tank. So if that's why you're feeling flat, just take note. There's a very good reason for it. So the oxygen tank is important. Noticing that you're a marathon runner as well. I like to think of everyone as a marathon runner, that every day is like a marathon, you know, and we fall on the couch at the end of the night and just say, that was just a big day. We're not commuting to work. We don't have the fuel coming in. So we actually feel exhausted at the end of the day. If anyone else feels like that, where you just curl up in the corner at the end of the day, it's really important to notice that as a marathon runner, if you don't stop at the drink stops and refuel, you will feel like that at the end of the day. So I sort of treat myself and my clients like we're all elite athletes. And we all know that when you do the marathon, you need to stop at the Gatorade stations. You need to refuel, have a quick stretch. You don't just run the whole thing flat out. We're just not built to do that unless you're very, very, very elite, those top 100 people in the world. So the drink stops during the day is what we need as human beings. We are not designed just to roll out of bed, work all day, homeschool all day, and cook the dinner and then expect ourselves to feel great. So let's try this little experiment of writing on a sticky note. So I hope you've all got some sticky notes handy, or are writing some notes during this session, that if you could just write breathe on your sticky note and take it to the bathroom and put it on that soap dispenser. So every time we go to the bathroom, I know a lot of people, they just go to the bathroom quickly and back to the laptop, bathroom, laptop, bathroom, laptop. What about using that as a habit stacker? That we take the time to refuel. So every time you go to the bathroom and we put that beautiful soap on that we probably paid a lot of money for, that we actually wash our hands slowly, really slowly, and we take 3 deep grounding breaths to calm our nervous system down. There is a direct link between the brain and the nervous system, and refueling the brain and getting energy back is through the breath. How many people here feel like you've been holding your breath today? Some people feel like they've been holding their breath for 10 years. So if you do that 6 times a day, you probably go to the bathroom, you know, because we drink so much water, is that every time I go to the bathroom, I've been doing this for 18 months straight, is 3 breaths. And I invite you all to sit up straight, put your shoulders back, and take a really big breath for yourself where your belly moves out, not your shoulders, not holding your breath, not shallow breathing, but a big breath. And get some fuel to your mind. If you do that 6 times a day, every time you go to the bathroom, how do you think you would feel at the end of the night? How do you think you would feel if for the next 10 years you took 3 breaths every time you went to the bathroom 6 times a day? What kind of person you would be, how you would handle stress, how you would handle breaking news if you could just breathe. So think of it as a super skill and a superpower to get you right back to the basics. And at the moment, we really want to do the basics. So learning how to breathe, making it a part of your day, not something that you have to set 10 minutes aside for. Most of my clients, and myself included, we take our 3 deep breaths, we wash our hands very slowly. There is a glass in the bathroom, so we can take another drink of water, which means we have to go back. What happens at the end of the day? Not tired, got time for the family, got time to go for a walk at the end of the day. If I don't do that breathing 6 times or however many times during the day, I actually feel completely cooked and burnt out at the end of the day. So think of that as your superpower. Put it on a little yellow sticky note. Take it to the bathroom, put it on the mirror. Just try it. It works. It works a treat. So give that a go. So self-connection is really the first part of getting to reset and re-energize yourself. We're all very different. We're all in very different circumstances. Some people are living alone. They haven't seen people for a long time. They have loneliness. They feel very disconnected with people. Some people are in a house full of people. They have no space. They're looking for internal space. So we're all very different. So I really invite you to think of today as something for you, that you build your own recipe as we take notes. So self-connection is just checking in with you as a business, you, the personal, writing down the most important things for you every day. So my power question for you to write down and ask yourself every day is, what is the most important thing to you in the world right now? Type it in the chat. Let's really share this and make it a beautiful interactive webinar. What is most important to you today? And I know a lot of people say, oh, it's my health. And health doesn't mean, do I wake up feeling great? Health means, what am I doing for my mental health as a bucket, my physical health, my emotional health, and my spiritual health? Okay, we have 4 buckets that we need to consciously be refueling all the time. So thinking about, what am I doing consciously to do that is really important. So write that question down. What's the most important thing to me today? And ask yourself that every morning. The second question is, what can you change right now for yourself? Have you got into a bad habit of having too many coffees or a wine every night after work that you would really love to just change? We just know, I'm in Melbourne, there's people in Sydney, there's people in New Zealand. Until Christmas, nothing much is going to change. So it's quite a lot for the brain to handle. So if we can just think about, what can I change for myself today? What better choice can I make for myself today? That's where you start. And I think that's the most powerful thing that you can be doing at the moment. Our values also are the most important way for self-connection. So thinking about the top 3 things for yourself. We will be sending out the values game at the end of this webinar for everybody that has attended and registered. Thinking about, what are the 3 things that are most important to you? So mine are here on a sticky note. They've been here for 20 years. 20 years, these 3 words have been the boss, not the job that I do. This is the boss. What am I doing today for my mental health, my physical health, my emotional health, and my spiritual health consciously? And we'll talk about what those are later. Family, how am I showing up? Am I still being a fun wife? Am I being a warm and nurturing mum? Am I being a kind, non-judgmental, empathetic friend, because everybody's in such a different situation? Am I there for my extended family? If I don't do the breathing drink stops during the day, I can't be any of those people. I cannot turn up and be that role model for people. Achievement, me being an achievement junkie, the A-type overachieving perfectionist, is really what turns me into burnout. So I've had to learn that something like the breathing, the moving my body every single day, is actually a bigger achievement for me than selling, 10,000 books this week, or doing 10 talks, or having, there's 473 of you on a Zoom. The achievement today is, what did I do to support myself? How did I care for myself as the athlete so I can finish the race, so I can get through, so I can help more people? I think that's a really important thing. So if you could write down your 3 values, you will get a worksheet at the end of this. Have them on the sticky note. It's been on my computer for 20 years. It's up on the mirror. We can always write on the mirror any of the quotes you like, mindsets that you like. Your values can be up there in whiteboard marker so it can rub off. But my mirror is full of words to train my brain, which we'll talk about later as well. So thinking about your values, they're the boss, they're your code of conduct. That gives your brain something to focus on every day. If we leave the brain blank, where we just say, this is my to-do list for work, we've got breaking news, and you've started your day on the phone with Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, breaking news and emails, you're not going to be feeling great. So my boss every day is, okay, I've got a job today. What am I doing for these 3 words today? It's so simple. It's so effective. It's what high performers use without burning out. So do that for your beautiful, precious, amazing self. I think it's a wonderful thing for you to take away. So breathing, values, asking yourself a power question is actually how we start self-connection. The second part is self-management. is where are we going? Okay, the brain still needs a roadmap. We all know that we're not going anywhere. We're not going on a plane. We're not seeing our friends. We can't have anybody over. But the brain actually needs to look past that. So a lot of my clients overseas are all out traveling. They're all at restaurants. They're all vaccinated. They're all having the great life again. We will get there. So it's really important to think about, what does my life after this lockdown actually look like? Who do I want to be? How can I make this lockdown work for me? And someone here on the chat said it sucks. It absolutely does. It's horrible. It's out of our control. There's nothing we can do about it. We're angry. And I'd love to bring up the point of grief, that we always thought that grief was for going to a funeral, for example, and that's when you grieve. But this whole generation, this whole country has actually now experiencing grief for the first time. We haven't been through a war. We haven't been through a Holocaust. We haven't been through anything big. This is the first time that we've actually experienced grief. If you're feeling flat, annoyed, angry, down, frustrated, sad, all of those are actually part of the grief cycle. So if you're feeling those things, please note that it is part of the grief cycle. It's all in my new book, Plan B, but it's something that is there. It is real. And when you can acknowledge for yourself, I think I'm really in a spot of grief at the moment, and it comes in waves. It passes through. So you might feel it today, but you didn't feel it yesterday, you know, and it's sort of this wave that passes through you. So when you feel the hit of grief, sit in it. We know we can't change it. Just acknowledge your feelings and emotions and then let them pass. We all know that this too shall pass. So I have another sticky that says this too shall pass, and it's all written on the mirror as well. So we all know we will be moving through. So I'd love you all to write down your age in 5 years' time with a big smile on your face, your 5-year older self, and think about, oh, in 5 years' time, you know, for me, I'll be 55. What does my 55-year-old self really want me to be doing today? Saving more money because I can't spend it. Don't do my online shopping so much. Save it, because when we can get on that plane, I'm out of here. So really making things work for us. What is your plan? What are you doing with your money? Have you done your tax return for the year? Is everything in order? Everything up to date? Because when we do move past this, we're going to look back and be proud of ourselves. So just thinking about what you can do for the business of yourself right now for your 5-year-older self, allow yourself to really think about what that feels like. Very important. The other part for self-management is how you start and finish your day. I'm not sure if any of you are really familiar with the morning miracles and the way people start their day. I call them the bookends of the day. The first hour of your day is how you start the day, and the last hour is how you finish, and everything in between is usually pretty chaotic. Homeschooling, dog barking, I'm coaching clients, I'm doing webinars, I'm trying to cook for the family in between, I'm trying to clean the house in between, put the washing on. We all know what it's like. So really thinking about how I start and finish my day are very, very important routines that make me stay connected, that make me think about my energy fuel tank and how much it needs to be working properly. So how we start our day, my tip for you is the 4 M's. So you can write these down for yourself, or someone can type them in the chat, is the 4 M's to start the day. Make your bed. Just get up and make your bed. Move your body. So I move for an hour. I always go for a walk. In Melbourne, it could be raining, hailing, windy, freezing, hot, whoever knows. We never know what we get. But I move my body for an hour every morning. Then do some mindful breathing where we're just taking that breath for the moment to say, I've actually done something today already. I've made my bed and I've done an hour of walking, where we can either listen to a podcast and learn something, we can put some great music on just to cheer ourselves up, or we could have total silence, or we could be connecting with someone and walking with a different friend every day or once a week or whatever suits you. And then the last M for the morning is called music. It is bringing that speaker into the bathroom and putting that music on as loud as I possibly can, which is very annoying for my teenagers. But I cannot tell you euphoria. It's like It's like that injection into my fuel tank for the day of having very loud music in the shower and really thinking about how can I spark joy for myself. We are not going to get it externally. We need to find things that are a part of our daily routine. So every morning it's a different song, it's fun, it's got memories attached to it. And then I'm coming to the office and I'm really ready to start the day. So I'd love you to think about the 4 M's, and you can put them on a nice sticky note, put them up on the mirror in the bathroom, make your bed, move your body, mindfully breathe, and put some music on. And then start the day, spark that energy. No one else is going to do it for you except for yourself. So it doesn't matter what situation you're in, if you're in a crowded house or by yourself, music is an incredible healer. Bed, body, breath, boogie. Thanks, Matt. I love that. I'm going to take that one from you, the 4 B's. I love it. So the other part is, how do you finish the day? How do you finish? How do you switch off? It's like you're the athlete that needs to leave the track. We all know if the athlete overtrains, they cannot turn up the next day and do their personal best. We just watched the Olympics. We've got the Paralympics on at the moment, which are absolutely outstanding. This is about a commitment to yourself to honour the asset, to refill the oxygen tank every night. When is your tools down time? What time do you actually shut the lid of that laptop and say, that's enough, I've got to protect the asset, no more output? No one's going to do that for you except for yourself, or having those technology boundaries with the phone. So if we're taking the phone to the couch and then to bed and we're scrolling Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, breaking news, emails, that's all going into your body and causing chaos. It is causing cortisol, which is a hormone in the body, the stress hormone, which then has an offshoot of more estrogen in your body. It is so taxing for our body. So thinking of our brain like water, and when we fill the water up from the river and we've got all that sediment swimming around in there, and we just keep putting more sediment in and swimming, twirling it around, the only way that we get clarity, that we get energy, is when we stop and all the sediment goes to the bottom and we get crystal clear water. That's our mind. If we don't, at the end of the day, just stop, just shut everything down, turn the phone off. 8 p.m, I don't look at my phone. It goes into the ensuite. It's not even in my bedroom. I've got an alarm clock. Is that technology boundary and curfew allows me then just to switch off and do my nighttime routine, which is, teeth, journaling, writing down gratitude. I then lie in front of the TV with my legs up the wall and I invert. It's a wonderful thing to do, is lie flat on your back, legs up the wall, watch the TV for 15 minutes in that position. It cleans all of our muscles. It's very good for chronic fatigue, for depression. It is getting everything to go the other way. Put on your salt lamp, put on all of your essential oils, whatever it might be, and just take that breath. What was the gift of today? There is always a gift of today. So write on your sticky note, what is the gift of today? This sticky note has been with me for 18 months now. What is the gift today? And it just sits on my computer to remind me, you have to find one. So just thinking of those AM and PM bookends, I think, is really important. Whenever you're feeling really, really flat, write this one down, change your state, change your story, change your life. It's a wonderful Tony Robbins thing. You can Google it and it'll come up on YouTube for you. Changing your state means change your physical state. Every time we feel flat, just stop, put your shoulders back, sit up. You can all do it now. Take a really big, deep breath. Just change your state, or move your body, walk around the block, do 5 push-ups, do 5 star jumps, and then change your story. What am I telling myself? If the story doesn't suit my values, it's actually taking more energy out of that oxygen tank. So thinking about, what is the story that I'm going to tell myself today? So I've got my lovely little yes button here, which is my friend, where, before I have to do a presentation, another client, another proposal, whatever it might be, am I ready to cook the dinner? I just say yes. Or am I ready to do the washing?
Yeah, baby.
This is my friend. So this has been great. Having these little props around you is how we change our state, how we change our story, which is what we're telling ourselves in our brain. And that's what changes our life. So if we're not moving our body, if we're not breathing, those two essential elements, you will feel in a stuck state. If you're not really training your brain with the words that you want to hear and put into that computer, which is between your ears, which is the most valuable real estate in your body, then you will feel flat. We can either tell ourselves we're stressed, tired, angry, exhausted, which is the grief cycle, which we can allow ourselves to acknowledge, but then we have to put in a new program up here into the mind. So that brings us to self-leadership. So we've done self-connection, self-management, and now self-leadership. So changing your state, change your story, change your life. Also planning. You know, we've just started spring. It's pretty exciting, especially in Melbourne. It's very exciting to get rid of the grey. So thinking about 12 weeks. We're going to be in lockdown for 12 more weeks. Okay, so let's get the brain used to that. Let's think about what do we want to achieve in spring that you would be happy with, that you might want to learn. We all know that when you're learning something, you are happy. When we're not learning anything, we're usually stuck. So do you want to learn something? Download that ebook, listen to a podcast, type in a topic that's interesting for you and just start learning about it. It just gives your brain that really nice map, somewhere to go moving forward. So I like to plan in the season, the 12 weeks, type a few goals, type some things that are interesting, type some podcasts I'd like to get into, but then always take it back to just today, one day at a time. And I think at the moment, the best way for you to be happy, for you to feel a little bit of energy, is just take one day at a time. What is my fresh goal just for today? You know, I've got clients who have been really sick. Their goal is just to walk around the block once a day. Just once a day. And they feel so good that they didn't just waste the day. So thinking about really small little goals that you could tick off for yourself allows the brain to think like it's had a sense of achievement. So training the brain and affirmations, they're all over my mirror. I've got sticky notes galore here everywhere with the words that I put up for the day that really support the brain. So one of them is, this too shall pass. So write that down for yourself. This too shall pass. My favorite one of all time is, where your focus goes, your energy flows. If we're going to focus on breaking news and Dan Andrews and everyone else's lockdown figures and COVID figures and vaccination figures, that's where your energy is going. If you really want to change things, you have to focus on something else to put your energy into it that actually makes you a little bit happy and joyful. So where your focus goes, your energy flows. Look at what you can control. So control the controllables is the next one for you to be writing down or for you to put up on that mirror. Focus only on the day ahead. Ask yourself, what energy do I choose today? Really great question. You know, it's really important for me with chronic fatigue that we train the brain to say, what do I choose today? I want to be here. I get to do this. I never say I have to do this. I say I get to do this. I get to do the washing. I get to cook dinner. I get to do all of these things. And just that little flick of the brain has been very important. It's I get to do this, and what energy am I going to put around it? Resentment, tired, angry, sad, frustrated. I'll allow myself that maybe for a day, and then I'll move into, no, I choose joy. I choose lightness. I'm being asked to stay in my home. I can do this. I get to do this. So how can I make this work for me the best I possibly can? So thinking of really looking at those affirmations and having quotes that you like, that you might hear on a podcast, that you might read in a book, is put them up so that your brain has something to hang on to and it's not just stuck and lost in your head. So I hope that helps you. I'd love to finish with the word celebration. It's really important to celebrate your wins, your tiny, small wins every day. Celebrate your amazing self. This is a really tough time. We're all just getting through. We're doing the best that we can. Please reach out for help if anyone needs help. Don't think that you have to do it alone. You don't have to. And if you really like this kind of content, please contact the Drake Wellness team to run lots of these sessions for all of your teams to really give them the tools and the tips to support them through this time.
Thank you so much, Shana. That was amazing to listen to, and you have inspired me to get out my Aesop hand wash that is sitting there waiting for when guests come over, which obviously isn't going to happen, and I will be enjoying the smell of it while I do my deep breath. So thank you. If anyone has any questions, please do send them through. We would love to answer any questions that you have. I can see we've had some great engagement in the chat during this, which has been so lovely to see. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, the chat is fantastic. So thank you. You know, it's really nice to have interaction and to see that we're not alone and that people take different things, right? These are all like a tapas menu of different tools and tips, and people can really just take what suits them, run with one little thing that might be really interesting to you, one little thing that you would love to really commit to for spring, and just have a go.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic. Excellent. Any questions from anyone coming through? So we have one. So what strategies do you recommend if you cannot go for walks and move your body? If you've been able to due to any health conditions, what other strategies do you have?
Yes, okay, so if you can't move your body, you might really go into that mindful breathing. There's some amazing apps out there like the Calm app, which I love. It's got Keith Urban music on there. There's masterclasses on there. Use the time that you can't use your body to really train your brain. So you could really learn breathing as your superpower. So there's the Calm app, there's Smiling Mind, there's Headspace, there's Insight Timer. So you could maybe use that time to really learn some new tools and tips that would really support you when you can get to move your body again.
Fantastic. Okay, so another question. How do you avoid breaking the routine, feeling like it's new routine?
How do you avoid breaking it's feeling like you've got to swap it up a little bit, you know, so you change the music, you change the walking track that you're walking on, you know, you have to just reinvent new ways. So on Sundays, I walk in the opposite direction that I normally walk during the week. I change with different people. I've got different playlists for different moods. I've got a different, the Calm app every morning has a different meditation that's on it. So in the night time, you know, before I go to bed, I listen to a 10-minute meditation, which has a lesson. So we need to keep just changing things up a little bit, I think.
Excellent. And another question, what do you do for yourself on a really down day, on a really tough day?
Oh, that's such a good question. Thank you for asking that. We all have them, right? So when I have it, the first thing I do is acknowledge it. You know, I've got really bad Mondayitis today. I can't be bothered. And a lot of people have these days where they say, I can't be bothered. And then it's like, what's wrong with me that I can't be bothered? I'm normally a motivated person. It's actually to acknowledge you're in the grief cycle and that we cannot just force ourselves out of it. We have to sit through it. So I try to then just walk away and just say today's a bit of a write-off.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to do my best work today.
Yeah, excellent, excellent.
I think someone else also asked about how do you manage chronic fatigue, and it's a really important thing because we all have something, and it's really important to have a strategy around it. So for me, if I don't move my body every day, I'm not good. And every single morning I wake up, I do not want to walk. There's not one morning where my eyes open and say, let's go for a walk. It says, no, you're tired. I can't really do it. I need to conserve my energy. And I actually force myself to walk. So movement, supplementation, making sure I see the naturopath every quarter and really supplement my adrenals. And somebody said here, any tips to reduce cortisol? Breathing is the quickest way. When you breathe out, you actually can breathe the hormone out. So if you really investigate some incredible breathing to reduce cortisol, where you take a longer out breath and you push it out, that's the quickest possible pill that you could ever take to reset your hormones.
Excellent. Okay. I have another question here. For many of us, our children are our focus and they are obviously being impacted. What's your advice for children to help them get through?
Yep, I've got kids too. I think the most important thing, and with young kids it's even harder, is actually not to expect too much from them. You know, one day they might be a bit engaged in school and the next day just not. This is about just being very kind and gentle as we walk through with them, and to get them to move as much as possible and to teach them how to breathe. So both of my kids, I've spent a long time just actually sitting and saying, let's just take 3 breaths. Let's just take 3 breaths. What a life skill to learn and to teach our kids. I think it's one of the most important things that we can do. Whenever we get something that's hitting us hard, whether it's loss of a loved one, we lose a job, break up with the boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it might be, the first thing that we always tell people to do is stop and take a breath. So let's teach everybody the first most important skill and master the basics.
That's amazing. I think, you know, we listen to so many of these webinars that encourage us to breathe, but to raise your children to have that as an integral part of their approach. What a gift to give them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great apps out there, even breathing apps that have a ball. And the ball, actually, you have to follow the ball with your lungs. So it breathes out and that breathes in. And when you get that in your mind and you can see the ball going up and down, and you can feel that in your lungs, that's a superpower. That's really how you ground yourself in any moment where you feel anxiety or overwhelm. The minute anxiety or overwhelm comes in, you must stop and do 3 deep breaths and just let it move through you. Otherwise, it's trapped inside you. And then you stop breathing. You know, you've probably found a lot of people out there have been holding their breath. It's all trapped in you. So if you can learn how to breathe it out, it allows everything to restore.
Amazing. Yeah. We just have one admin question, which is, can we access this webinar and listen again? And yes, we'll certainly send you a recording of it, so you're welcome to listen to it as many times, get those sticky notes written down. It's definitely not a problem. Someone has asked if you can share the night meditation app or tool you use.
Yes, I use the Calm app, CALM. They've actually got beautiful nighttime stories on there, some by Harry Styles, some by Matthew McConaughey, there's ones for children on there as well. And the story actually takes you away from your own thoughts. And I think that's very powerful when people feel overwhelmed. It also has masterclasses on there. It has breathing on there. I really, really like it. I think it's an incredible app, and they've brought in a lot of celebrities now, which it just makes you connect a little bit more, I think, to people.
I can imagine that would be very engaging. I'll have to look into that one. And then I think this might be our last question, unless anyone else has ones that they want to send through, or if we've missed any, please let us know. But how do you get past guilt in terms of, you know, struggling with mental health and the different challenges that we're all dealing with? How do you get past the guilt of not feeling like you're able to give 100% at the moment?
Well, guilt's a wasted emotion, full stop. Okay, it doesn't make us feel better, it just makes us feel worse, and it doesn't get us anywhere. So whenever I feel guilty, I haven't spent enough time with my kids, or I didn't really make a very nice meal tonight because I was too tired, and they might have ended up with baked beans on toast. I'm really practiced now at saying guilt just doesn't serve. So maybe focus on what you are doing, not what you're not doing, but really focusing back on what are you doing. The small little things is more important than feeling guilty about, I haven't done that for that friend, or, you know, just focus on yourself first at the moment and make sure that you're in a great space, that your mental, physical and emotional health are really being fed, and then we can give to other people. But if we're trying to do that on a really low base, then we're just going to sabotage ourselves with these kind of emotions.
Oh, very true. Well, I think we're coming up to the end of our timing. So I just wanted to, first of all, thank you, Shana. That was amazing and so insightful. I feel like I've learnt a lot, and I'm sure that the rest of our team has, who have all joined us here today. So We just want to thank everyone for joining us. It's been amazing to have Shana here, and from us at Drake Workwise and the Wellness Hub, we just want to let you know as well that we have a large offering of services to help support you in investing and improving on your well-being, whether that be in making changes at an individual level or further developing your company's well-being solutions. And we would love to be there with you through that journey. So we really encourage you to reach out, and we would love to continue to have those conversations with you. So thank you, everyone, and have a great and safe day.
Amazing. Thanks for having me, everybody. There's a few questions. Where can you get my book? Just go online, Plan B, it's called. It's available at all stores. And remember, really contact the Drake Wellness team, and let's get this kind of information to as many employees as we can in this difficult time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shana. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you
Take care. Bye.